Welcome back to the Financially Forward podcast, where your financial coaching team is here to help you take control of your financial future. We're your host, the financial coaches of Scholas, and we're here to help you navigate the world of money.
I'm Kapria, and I'm joined by Denzil. In this episode, we're diving into a topic that can feel huge, intimidating, and maybe a little out of reach for some of our learners.
I agree. I think it can certainly feel like a high level club kind of thing, but it's really about building a solid foundation now that pays dividends for our families later. With the career pivot that you all are making into tech, you're sitting on the greatest wealth accelerator of this generation. And with this opportunity today to just share about other ways that you can leverage it, I'm excited to have this conversation with you, Capria.
And I'm excited too. This is both of our passions, so this is going to be an amazing episode. So, we are calling this episode Five Ways to Avoid Being Left Behind from Wealth Building. So, let's get into it. Let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. When you hear generational wealth, you might picture a club for people who are born with a silver spoon. But we are here to tell you that is absolutely not the case. We are talking about net worth and what you are actively building right now.
Exactly. I know that with the many learners that we get the opportunity to work with, you'll be landing amazing high paying jobs. And with that new salary as a resource, it's good to have a strategy on how do I make this money work for my future self a year from now, 5 years from now. And with tech being a great equalizer with wealth building, it puts us all in a great position to start building, whether you're starting from zero or even if your family never really had the resources to do it before. So let's really try to figure out what's it look like for us to be great stewards of our money.
Yes, and tech is the fastest growing industry, Denzel. I'm so happy that our learners have acquired that skill and now we can put it to use. And for those of you who are finishing first in your family to build significant wealth, the first to break that generational financial cycle, we recognize the heavy lifting. There's a responsibility and sometimes a quiet guilt that comes with being the trailblazer. We're going to talk about healing and how you can work harder for a strong foundation, not a burden.
So as we start this off, let's break down the pillars of wealth. Most people think of just that one piece where it's all about the money, but there's actually different pillars that will help us define our strategy. And here we'll address the emotional barrier.
That's right, Denzel.
Let's get started with it. And jumping off from number one, we're thinking about financial capital. This is really the math, right? We're thinking about cash, stocks, real estate. It's about us understanding the raw power of compound interest and letting your money work for you. So whether you're really considering how's my investments doing, how's my cash making more money for me, we really want to understand what does it look like for you to be stable with this area too.
And of course, we understand that math, finances, the actual money is the most obvious pillar. However, this means we are going to heal our scarcity trauma. It's moving from that fearful, ingrained thought of, I'll never have enough, to the confident belief of, I am allowed to keep what I earned and build security. This is also where budgeting, saving, and investment plays a role to create growing money.
That's so good, Capria. Because I think about just the beauty of the community that we have, which leads us to pillar number two, human capital. And this is basically what you're doing now. You think about your education, the different certifications that you have. You're building skills. We're all building skills as working professionals that are developing ourselves for our futures. So as you increase your earning potential, your certification is your greatest financial asset. And just understand how to use those skills to make sure that you can go anywhere and continue to build wealth over time.
Thank you, Denzel. That is so true. And this is where we tackle that imposter syndrome, that voice that questions if you truly belong in a high earning space. That voice needs to be silenced because you've earned your seat at the table and you deserve every opportunity and dollar that comes with it.
And moving forward, we move into number three, intellectual capital. And this is really the know-how. That's when we talk about financial literacy, investing secrets, business knowledge. And it's important to pass it down because with information, we can certainly make different decisions that make us better over time, even including making sure that our family members, our friends are making wiser decisions so we can change the trajectory of our future.
Yes, Denzel, it's what allows each new generation to start from a more informed position. So, with that being said, we are going to focus on removing that shame. Forgive yourself and your family for not knowing what you weren't taught, right? We're going to focus on liberation from the past. The cycle of misinformation ends with you because you are actively gaining this intellectual capital now, which introduces us to a next thing, social capital.
So I thank you for making sure that you're spending time with us and think about your social capital because this is who you know, your professional network, your mentors, your access to different circles that may be different opportunities and understanding we're a part of your social capital. So you can ask us questions. You have great people at your site, whether that's your talent solutions folks, other alumni are just as valuable to your growth and your development for the future. So really think about how we can improve our network over time and have opportunities that we never imagined because we make great connections with those around us.
Yes, Denzel, and that's a wonderful point because most people feel like because of their financial trauma that they're in this alone and they have to do everything alone. And if you ask for help or utilize help, that means you didn't deserve your spot at the table. However, that is called the loner defense, and it is a trauma response. We are going to break that down because you don't have to do it all by yourself to survive. Your cohort, your coaches, your community, that is your social capital. You are stronger and we are stronger together.
So true, Kapria. This leads to our last pillar, which is number five, the legacy capital. These are the individual assets, your family values, your resilience, and the mission statement you set for your bloodline. So think long and hard about the future, right? When we think about years down the line, what did we put in place in terms of the values, whether that's faith, whether that's fun, how we prioritize our family, and you'll be wiser as you continue to develop over time.
Yes, Denzel, it defines why you are building wealth and what principles guide your decisions. This is about reclaiming strength and about reframing our resilience. Take the incredible strength that you used to survive your past financial struggles and turn it into a solid, unshakable foundation for the future, not a burden. So, now that we talked about the five pillars, let's get to the five actionable steps you can take right now while you're in the tech grind to make sure you're building wealth. So, first, we are going to audit our money scripts. We all have money scripts, the internal lies or rules we were told about money. They sound like money is the root of all evil, or people like us don't get rich, or more importantly, that's too much, that's too high, or that's ambitious. So, write down one of those old scripts and intentionally delete it from your mental hard drive.
Bria, that is so good because I think even about my younger childhood or the different people around you, sometimes they say things and it could become ingrained. So we definitely want to work on how we don't allow our scripts or our thoughts to move us away from the people that we want to become in our futures.
Yes.
And then we can move into number two, the knowledge transfer strategy. So remember that wealth isn't just cash, it's also information. You have new tech vocabulary to teach your children, even the beauty of our siblings, our parents. We want to understand how do we allow our new financial concept to educate and inform those around us. You're gaining really great intellectual capital, right? And now it's important that we transfer that. And then that leads us to number three, the safety net first. The number one thing that causes a generational reset is those crazy emergencies. So we all probably had it where one flat tire runs us a whole bunch of money. Hopefully it's not a whole month, right? And with that emergency, it's oh my gosh, the world ends. So let's really build in the capacity to take care of things when they may come up. And that's just as simple as hopefully creating an emergency fund of $1,000. That small safety net stops the major setbacks.
That is so true, Denzel. I had to chuckle along with you because it seems like that one emergency just offsets everything. But when you have that low hanging fruit, you don't have to go get a loan or ask people for money. So the next one is community wealth, the power of the cohort. And this one is crucial. The need for hyper independence is a trauma response. And your per Scholas cohort is now your new social capital, your network. Lean on them and lean on us. Share knowledge and build professional relationships. You are stronger together.
I love this community and I'm grateful that I get to be a part of it. So I know together we grow stronger. And last but not least, we're ending off this part with number five, securing the future. And to secure that, it's so vital that we take the precautions that are in place to help us offset our risk. And that includes insurance and beneficiaries. This might be boring, but this definitely saves families. As you land that job, look into life insurance, whether that's term life whole life, it's important that we at least consider what's it look like. And we also understand that jobs provide some of these things too. So it's good to have some type of insurance to cover those that depend on your income if something were to happen. And most importantly, name a beneficiary on all your accounts. For your 401k, right? Do not let administrative errors leave your family vulnerable. Because of that, I think we need to go to the healer room. So, Capria, please help us.
Yes, I love that section. We want to secure the future for our families and for our legacies. And this is our moment for a pulse check. If you are feeling overwhelmed, remember the not yet mantra. You are not wealthy yet. You haven't mastered your budget yet. The power of yet acknowledges your struggle, but ensures you are still moving forward. Because again, you are not alone in this. You have a whole team of coaches, learning support managers, and fellow learners that will help you through. And we are all in this together.
I think the beauty of us being in all of this together, we see it regularly with different people trying to navigate just the overwhelming responsibilities that we have, and that's okay. So, with all of this, as you're landing your new job and making 10, 20, 30 grand more in a year, we also want to remind you that there might be some survivor's guilt, right? And family members start to ask for money. They see you doing well, you're building wealth. And we know that with that, sometimes that requires boundaries. So setting healthy boundaries around your money is an act of love for your future self and your family. It also models the things because as you know, when you're listening to this, you'll also start to share the information. So you're prepping your family to let them know how do we make sure this is a team sport as we get better with it. And along with all these different conversations, to summarize, you're currently building tremendous human capital simply by being in this program. You have skills, and now you need a strategy to go right along with that. So, Capria, any final thoughts or anything else that you would love to share with our learners before we end up our time today?
Yeah, so before we wrap up, I do want to take a moment to say your financial journey doesn't have to be a solo mission. We've talked about strategy and numbers, but we have to acknowledge that weight that a lot of us carry. It's the constant worry, the fear that that one flat tire will send you backwards, the shame of not knowing what your parents couldn't teach you. Not didn't, but couldn't teach you. That's not just stress, that is financial trauma. And it's true. It's that deep, often subconscious response to a lifetime of financial insecurity. It can make you freeze when it comes to investing or cause you to spend money the moment you get it because you fear it will vanish. It's an emotional response that completely overrides the logic of all of the things we talked about. So, again, your financial journey doesn't have to be a solo mission. The most important thing right now is that your past does not have to be your future. So, if you want a partner to guide you through auditing your money scripts, creating a budget, or making an investment plan, please schedule a free one on one session with any one of our 7 coaches. We are here to help, and you have access to these services 2 years after you graduate. You can find a link in the show notes.
And that's it for this episode of the Financially Forward podcast. We hope you found it helpful. You aren't behind. You're the one who's leading the way. And we can't wait to see you next time on the next episode. Let us know how we can help.